It's so peaceful this evening. You can really feel that spring is in the air. Look at those tulips. And I've even got some overwintered anemones in my tulip pot. They are enormous, aren't they? Look at the size of that plant. Incredible. Hellebores are all still looking magnificent. I thought I'd bring you down to the field because we have done a bit of planting. You can completely cheat because Neil's frames have got lids, so essentially this is a cold frame and the Cerinthe were getting really big. So we thought we'd better get those in the ground. So just be careful, make sure that you harden off your plants properly first, and then for things like Cerinthe, just make sure you put a bit of fleece over if it's going to be really cold. But as I say, because we've got Neil's lids, we don't need to worry about that at all. I've also got my poppies out. Some are bigger than others, just depending on when I started them. These were started really early, do you remember, just so I could tell you how long they take to germinate. So they were started a bit early. The ones behind are probably more the size that you've got. So pretty out here. So over here you can see the lids are really low. These plants are smaller. So in here we have got the sweet rocket and the Ammi majus and the cornflowers. And again, they're not batting an eye at the cold because I hardened them off properly, and they do have Neil's lids just to keep the worst of the frost off. But I think they would have been fine anyway. They're very tough now and very big. Under the cold frames here, I've got a little bit of enviromesh as well, are the wild carrot. So they're not out yet, but they can go out shortly when the weather allows. And the Orlaya grandiflora, because they're just really not quite big enough to plant. If I plant them too soon, when you pop them out the cells, the soil tends to fall away. So it's easier if you just let them grow on a bit, and then they'll just pop out like plugs, and then planting is really easy. Sweet peas are also all outside now, hardening off. Again, we put a little bit of enviromesh over the top for added protection because it was cold. But we want to get these planted soon. So make sure you start your hardening off. You can always put them out during the day and then take them back in at night. Now, although I have planted the Ammi majus, I have not planted the Ammi Visnaga. I do find that they are just that little bit more delicate than the Ammi majus, and they also grow more slowly and flower later. So you can see they've got loads of room left in their cells, so there's no urgency to get them planted, and then that means I can keep them under protection for a little bit longer. And then once they filled those cells, as I said before, it's so much easier to plant when the whole plug pops out, and then by that time it will be a little bit warmer as well. But they are under the cold frames, and you can see not batting an eye. The seedlings in the greenhouse are doing ever so well. I have resisted sowing any more seeds just where it's so chilly. So I haven't yet done my Rebecca. I need to crack on with that, but there is no hurry. You know, a week here or there really doesn't make that much difference. And also you want them for the later part of the summer, so they'll be looking fresher for a bit longer if you just wait a tiny bit. I have done the carnations though. Quick update on the snapdragon seeds I accidentally dropped, and you can see they have settled in and visibly grown now. So I think I can leave the lids off and just let them get on with it now. So you can see from the thermometer here how much of a temperature swing that we're getting at the moment. Wowee. If you've got room, you can harden off your larkspur. I haven't got room yet, but hopefully I can get the sweet peas out in the next week. We will protect them in the ground. We'll add a bit of fleece at planting time, just so we can get them out a bit earlier, because we've got the dahlia shop to do. I'll be all distracted with orders. These are the petite larkspur, looking absolutely fantastic. Really growing now, aren't they? So just don't get carried away and overwater them, and they'll be absolutely fine. Can't wait to plant these. I've got loads. So if you're following along from at home, but the difference is you're germinating your seeds in the house, what you want to do is bring the seed trays, once they're germinated, outside to the greenhouse during the day, but back in at night for about 2 or 3 days. Then after that, you can leave them in the greenhouse overnight, but put some horticultural fleece or lids over them for 2 or 3 nights. And then after that, because these are quite hardy varieties, they should be good to be left in the greenhouse. Obviously, just avoid, if it's really cold and frosty, if it's below freezing, then that is not the time to leave them in the greenhouse for the first time. Let them toughen up a bit first. And then anything with lids on, you can use lids instead of the fleece if you want to. These are just the seeds I've sown today. So I need that humidity, you can see it building in this little propagator here. So I need the humidity for the germination, but not for these guys because they're already up.